look at some brand new footage into us here at WeatherNation from Lake Guajataca in Puerto Rico. It's on the northwest side. This is an area that we're closely monitoring because there was a partial dam failure earlier this afternoon. Flash flood emergency for residents downstream of that, as you can see that water pouring on out right there. It's a developing story we're staying on top of here at WeatherNation. We thank you for joining us. Steve and Meredith here with you.
And just to name a few of those communities, we're talking about Isabela and Quebradillas. Those municipalities are under a flash flood warning for that imminent dam failure, and that goes until 8:15 p.m. local time. So we are really keeping a close eye on that. But of course, we've been talking to our reporters and correspondents live in the field, and right now we have one of them with us. Yeah,
Brett Adair, who has been right there in the midst of all the action. Brett, what can you tell us of what you saw today?
Well, we definitely saw that areas of Puerto Rico that we did not get to venture to yesterday are dealing with just some of the same catastrophic damage. We saw lots of wind damage, and obviously we were able to fly across the dam there, and we saw where the levee breach on the right-hand side of the dam is beginning to impact that Isabela area very much. It's a big river gorge through there, and there are some homes that are down along the side of that gorge, up and down the gorge, and that dam, if that dam were to fail, that would be just absolutely catastrophic.
And we were just talking also earlier to some of the local National Weather Service offices, and people are encouraged not to travel unless you are fleeing an area where flooding is happening or are under an evacuation order.
Yeah, absolutely. The roads, earlier this afternoon as we were flying down the coastline, a lot of the roads there were traffic jams because there's still water over many roads. Some of the roads are absolutely washed out. We saw a couple of bridges from the air as well during our journey that were partially washed out. So, travel is going to be treacherous here for quite some time. However, one of the positive things that we did note here in the San Juan area, a lot of the crews are beginning to get out and clean up the front of the streets. The business owners are starting to try and patch up their windows and their businesses. And, they are trying to get back to some kind of normalcy in some areas. But those areas on the northwest side of Puerto Rico, that was just some serious devastating flooding, and it's going to continue to be a problem as long as those rivers and those reservoirs are full. It's going to create major issues with the potential for dam and levee failures going forward.
Now, Brett, you mentioned you saw a lot of homes right along that river, and especially as that widened today. From your perspective, did you know any damage to any of those structures yet?
Well, there was a lot of wind damage, a lot of roof damage when Maria came through. The winds, it looked like the funneling effect down in some of those gorges also assisted in causing serious wind damage to those homes. We did see some roads and some vehicles that had sustained damage due to the area of that levee that had washed out. So while the entire dam hasn't failed, there has been some sustained damage due to water through there. But that's absolutely why the flash flood emergency is in effect, because it's a very unstable situation there.
Brett, for a lot of our viewers watching from the States that have family or friends in Puerto Rico, what advice can you tell them when it comes to communicating? Because I understand there's still a lot of communication down, and not to just assume the worst, but know that they'll probably get in touch with them in the next couple of days.
Well, that is absolutely the biggest issue on the island right now. We have minimal connectivity. We were able to somehow get fiber internet back here at our area in San Juan, but in terms of cellular service, it is very touch and go. There are a couple of providers that are working here. For example, AT&T works, but we did fly by several of those LTE towers that had damaged antennas or dishes on them, and that they were, some of them that were just completely destroyed. So it is going to take some time, possibly a week or two, before they get the mobile cell towers deployed and get some of this coverage back out here.
Okay, so bottom line is hang in there, friends and family, while those repairs are made. Brett Adair from the air himself, and also our Brandon Clement earlier today, the visuals that you're seeing there. Thank you, Brett, for your time and also your communication. I know it's tough. Hurricane Maria continues its northern turn, and it's going to be moving parallel to the East Coast. This is, again, a story that we'll continue to cover here on Weather Nation as we leave you with some images from Lake Guajataca today.